Hello everyone, this is Jeff Mazzeo, CMO at Cytara, and I want to wish everybody a happy new year. As we start 2024, for my first video, I've decided to do something a little bit different. A lot of the videos in 2023 that I did talked about how Cytara does what it does and why we're better than our competitors. But one of the things I haven't talked a lot about is why would you implement something like a solution like Cytara DLX? We talk to a lot of customers, and many of them have some level of lab data connectivity integration in place. But invariably, they're doing it with what we call traditional point-to-point connectivity. And typically, when I say that, it's point-to-point, but it's also incomplete. So they typically will have some of their lab assets connected, but certainly not everything. So obviously our position is you should digitally connect everything, integrate them, automate your workflows, and you're going to get all kinds of benefits. But what I want to focus on in this video is by continuing to rely on incomplete point-to-point connectivity, what are some of the negative implications that enterprises have by doing so? So it's really a different way to look at this. What are the benefits of Cytara DLX, which I've talked a lot about? But what I want to talk about today is what are the negative implications by doing nothing? That is, by sticking with the traditional approach to lab data automation. So I want to focus on three categories of negative implications of sticking with the status quo. Number one are negative business implications. Number two are negative financial implications. And the third category would be negative people implications. So these are all negative implications to an enterprise by continuing to stick with the traditional incomplete point-to-point connectivity strategy. So let's start with negative business implications. So this is the overall enterprise that we're talking about. Probably the number one thing that is a negative implication of sticking with the traditional approach is that you're not making decisions fast enough. That is, by relying on some level of manual data management and not getting data to the people that need it when they need it, you're slowing down the overall decision making at your enterprise, which has got huge negative implications for your business. In today's business world, it's all about making good decisions and making them quickly. That's the agile companies that are successful today. So that's the number one business implication, negative business implication by sticking with the status quo. Secondarily, one of the things that we talk a lot about is the fact that you really want to be able to correlate data across your laboratories to really gain insights into what's happening and to gain insights into that data so that you can, again, make decisions, accelerate product development, discover new products, et cetera, et cetera. So you're not correlating data across your labs so that you can make good decisions and drive innovation. Similarly, another negative business implication is that you're not correlating your lab data with other enterprise data, right? So the ability to take the data that's coming out of your laboratory and correlate it with other enterprise data, whether that's your sales or manufacturing, et cetera, you're not gaining insights from data by continuing to rely on the traditional point-to-point connectivity strategy. So that's kind of the negative business implications. Let's now move to the financial implications. And this is something that I have talked about in the past. So for example, you have increased costs that are associated with manual data management. People are manually transcribing data, they're manually moving it around, they're manually reviewing data to make sure that there's no errors that are made. You're putting effort into error investigations that invariably will come from manual data management. This is something I've talked about in the past. So you're suffering from increased business costs that are related to relying on a point-to-point connectivity strategy. Similarly, by doing a point-to-point strategy, you probably are spending a lot of your own resources to manage and update those connections as your business evolves. So that's additional cost that you're incurring. By not being able to understand your laboratories completely, you're also probably underutilizing your assets. You probably have too many assets in your lab that you're not using effectively. So therefore you have increased costs associated with depreciation and capital costs because your lab is not operating efficiently. And then finally, the whole area of your revenue is impacted by point-to-point connectivity. And specifically in this case, what we're talking about is your time to market. So in R&D, the faster you get products to market, the more revenue that you get over a product's lifetime. By not making fast decisions, by not getting the insights that you need, you're impacting your overall revenue. In the QC area, your ability to release batches quickly and not keep things in inventory, that impacts revenue and costs as well. So there are significant financial implications of continuing to rely on point-to-point connectivity. And then finally, the third category is your people. Again, something I've touched on in the past. You don't want your people doing non-value-added tasks like manual transcriptions and manual data management. It's not a good use of their time. You want them to be focused on science and driving innovation. Also, because they don't have access to all the data across your enterprise, your key innovators are not as effective as they could be, right? Because they're missing all the information that they need to make good decisions and drive innovation. And related to that is the fact that the collaboration across your enterprise is suffering because of point-to-point connectivity. Because again, you can't get the data to the people who need it when they need it. So in summary, we really are trying to create a sense of urgency that as we turn the page and we start a new year, you really need to adopt a modern strategy to lab data automation based on a technology like Cytara DLX. Because continuing to rely on the traditional approach is costing you and your company all kinds of additional financial resource constraints, it's slowing down your innovation, and it's demotivating your people. So now is the time to make a change. Once again, this is Jeff Mazzeo, CMO at Cytara, and thanks for listening.